All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is Monday, May the 15th, 2017. And the title of tonight's webinar is Pre-Market Region Trading and Retrace Trades. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Bear with me just a second. First off, I want to show a chart over here, and this is real. Can anybody tell me why I've got this chart marked up exactly like I have right now? Why do I have the little blue box there as kind of a sweet spot for my trade? Viper traders, you've been with us a long time. You already know. You can see those swings. Everybody see those swings on that chart? Looking to the left to trade the right. It's super, super important. Okay? Now, the reason I drew this like this is because we're getting a little retrace right now. Okay? You'll notice that you have a swing here. Okay? That's why I put it there. That's also here. Notice how it came and kissed it as it went up. And then you got a swing over here to the left. So I draw a little box like that. Now, who's to say, though, that this thing isn't going to go all the way down to here? And nobody knows that, okay? Because, you know, this could easily just come all the way down, maybe just kiss this little area, maybe a tick or two above it, something like that, and then take off like a bird, okay? And the reason that we don't just take a trade, you know, just simply because it hits the line, unless you're really sure it's going to bounce, and there's a lot of trades that, you know, a lot of our people are really sure that it's going to do its thing there, and they go ahead and take the trade. Now, I would say if I was looking at this particular chart, I'd be looking more for this trade right here, just right around 76, because that's a lightning 3 swing. See the numbers? Little numbers on there? That means that that's actually looking at a 12 range chart, pardon me, a 4 range chart, but on a 15 swing strength. So it knows these thrusts, these retraces, these thrusts. Okay? So that's exactly how you draw it on your chart. Okay? Now, when you trade it, though, on the other hand, let's go ahead and get rid of the standard disclaimer. We don't need that anymore. Got 2 charts over here. Now, I've got a 4-7. For some reason, I can't get a 4-8 to work in the right color. It's really weird. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I called my programmer, but haven't heard back from him. That's not unusual. But anyway, I put a 4-7 on here. A 4-8 doesn't let me have my colors for some reason tonight. It may be market replay that's causing it. Okay, but you can also use these larger bars to get into a trade too. You know, for instance, if I draw a line on this chart and I've got a swing right there, of course exactly the same on the 4 range chart, right? Oh, I've got to go to the 4 range chart to do that, like that, right? Okay, then I know that that's going to be an area that is at least support, so it should bounce. Now, there's nothing saying that it will bounce, but we've developed some tools in Viper Trading Systems that'll kind of tell you when it does, okay? And that's called your lightning. Lightning 1, 2, 3, and even 4. Now, 4 is actually what I consider to be the larger trend. You don't really pay as much attention to it as you do lightning 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and lightning 1 and 2 when you're using the power meters. Now remember on Saturday I went over how to use those power meters, and they're very powerful. Okay, they work extremely well. Okay, and I'll go over them again just a little bit. Now we're going to talk about boxing in regions, and I purposely picked this time of night because I don't trade this. You know, this is literally just Sunday night, you know, when the market's open. I have really no idea what they did, except for the fact that we're going to diagnose the chart and see if we can trade it. That's exactly right. That's where you anticipate that next trade. Now, if you were looking at a sheer lightning, let's just go to this chart for a minute. If you were looking at a sheer lightning type trade, where would you look to box this trade in? Anybody? Because if you say like this, that's really not right, because if you draw on your lightning swings on here, you can clearly see that you've got a swing here, right? You got a swing here. Oops, sorry about that. You got a swing right here. So now if this was going to take lightning 2 back up, it should actually take out 91, but then you've got to target at just 96. You see what I'm getting at? Okay, but we do also know that we've got support down here at 76. Now that's actually where I would like to take the trade, and as close to mid-band as possible. Okay, that would be what I'd like to do. So let's just draw a little sweet spot on the chart and see if we can get us a trade. And by the way, everybody remembers, if you use the PM trade, you have to go the opposite direction first. Okay, this will not fire this trade if it even takes out 91. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and change these colors. I had them white for that black background. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Navy's good. Then I'll get rid of these and we'll just put them back on. Let's go ahead and draw our support. And we'll also draw support at mid-band too. So there's like little sweet spots in certain areas on this chart, right? Here's a sweet spot right here. Okay, here's a sweet spot right here. See this swing and this swing? Like that. That's kind of two areas that I would expect it to bounce. Okay, mid-band, this little area right here, like off a predictor. And we can more than likely get this trade on a PM type trade, because as a rule, when they're trying to go back to a support level, they're going to change lightning 1 or lightning 2. Okay, let's go ahead and fire up the market replay so we can see if it does just that or what we're going to get into here. And I'm going to go ahead and do like 3. We've got it still set on 5, 7, and 20 from last week, from last Saturday. Let's see what it does. Everybody see how I drew on that chart though. That's the most important thing, is to be able to see in real time, just like on those charts today. Why isn't PM1 red right now? That's actually a good question. Let's see if it is red. This may be because I had my market replay stopped, because that can do this. Let's go ahead and do load the template again, and we'll see if it's red. Because with market replay, you know, stopping it and everything, that throws off that tick type trade. I hope I don't kill this chart. There we go. Okay, so we are red. Good deal. All right, let's put Object Trader back on. Okay, and we'll be in replay mode. And I've got my max contract set at 10. Now, if you're trading, you know, on your own charts, be sure and set this to what you want it to be. If you never want to go over 3 contracts, just simply put a 3, right click, and set that as your default. Okay, if you're willing to go as many as 10, for instance, just leave it at 10, set it as your default. But just remember, if you use like bar close or something like that on auto, it can get up to that max number of contracts. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll watch for this trade. We're watching for a PM 1 or 2. Okay, so let's see if we get something on this chart. And I'll go ahead and do 3. And we'll do a PM1 long. Okay, it's coming right down to where we want it. Very, very close to where we want it, isn't it? Hasn't changed PM just yet. It did bounce off our predictor. It bounced off this little support area. But remember, you don't know how far down it's going until it quits going the direction it's going, if that makes sense to everyone. Lightning to the downside, for instance, right now is what's happening in real time on this chart. Now there you go. You just got the little trade here. Let's see if it actually works out. We'll go ahead and get our target out of the way. One of our targets out of the way. We'll put one of our targets up at the swing, and then we'll let the trade do what it's going to do. Now, did that turn out to be a nice trade based on power meter? See how that's even better than boxing in? Because when you think about it, the little boxes, you know, what if you would have drawn this box? I'm gonna slow this down real quick. What if you had drawn this box a little tighter at the time and had it on touch or something, and this is what you saw? So you're thinking, wow, I want to get in this trade. It's really going up, and it wicks that top of that box, and you're in the trade because you might have set it on touch. Okay, but notice that lightning is still heading to the downside at the time. When did lightning start heading back up? Lightning started heading back up when it took out that swing. Okay, and always remember, I'll show you this deal right here too. This is only showing an uptrend, but you can obviously flip the chart over and see a downtrend too. But remember, there's lightning 2, which is a little bit larger, thrust, retrace. When is this swing identified? Right here. It's identified when it takes out the left swing with a closed bar at least. Okay? When is this swing identified? Not anywhere in here, right? Only when it takes out this swing, and it did there. When is this swing identified? When it takes out that swing right there. And it just makes it a whole lot easier to trade when you see this in real time. Okay? Now, if you use lightning 1, be careful that you don't just get short on an uptrend. See what I mean? Because this is that same chart, by the way. But look at your high, your low. Same high, starts breaking. Maybe lightning 1 changed to red right here. Okay? But this is more than likely a little uptrend so far because you had this up here. You haven't come down and taken out this swing over here. See what I mean by that? So you're really looking for the resumption of buying instead. And that's what we're doing on that chart. See, we've got a high, a low, a lower high, lower low. This has got a little bit lower low again, lower high again, right? And then you've got a higher low on this side. So when it takes out this swing right here, that's your lightning, and then off she goes. And that's exactly what you're doing on this chart right here. And that's how beautiful this little trader can be. Let's see, I've heard you say you buy one at predict. You can. Mac, on your question, MG Mac, on your question, what you want to do if you see that you draw, for instance, and you know this predictor, and see it bounced right off the predictor. So this is a late entry compared to this one. And we drew on our chart, and we had everything exactly where we wanted it, and see where it came right back on top of? That's where I like to buy it myself. Okay, but you don't want to go nuts, because what happens if you go nuts on that and go like 7 contracts and it happens to just keep trucking on down, and maybe it still holds this swing, but what if it came down all the way down to here and you got 7 contracts? See what I mean? You know, if you go 1 here and you feel a little bit of heat, but then it starts popping back up, you're fine. But if you did like 7 here, you know, thinking that, you know, this was just going to keep going up, and it actually tested lower before it bounced, or what if it actually went lower and took it out and started heading down? That's why the lightning is really, really good. I'll draw lightning 1. See there? Lightning 1. This is real data. This is our webinar chart. But you'll notice on this chart where this started heading back up, you just have to simply get a low, a high, a higher low, see, than here, right here. And when it takes out this swing right here, that's actually where this fires the trade. Okay? PM would simply close the bar above this swing right here, and it would close the bar. You would put your stop underneath there. Okay? And that's a lot safer trade too, because you were retracing down, and when did you start retracing back up? When it started heading back up on the lightning swings. Okay? Now see, it turned into a beautiful trade, by the way, with 3 contracts even. Now naturally our stop would be like under here right now. That's our lightning swing. And we would probably go ahead and leave our targets out of the way, like so, and just let the trade go. Okay? Now, what if you missed this trade? Totally just missed it, because we don't know what it's going to do. We do know it's trying to go to 95. Okay? And it looks like it's going to make it. It just did. Okay? That would be an area that you could take off, you know, all but one contract. You could just simply hit market order to get out of one if you wanted to, or watch the bar itself. You can even move your target out of the way and watch the bar itself. See, the bars are still heading up. Okay? Now, since we're retrace traders, where would you get in this trade if you missed this? Because this looks like this is going to town. Look at that. Okay? Everybody see that? I'm going to slow it down just a little bit. Okay. Breakout and retrace a touch. I can tell you one thing that you can also look for when they do a really, really good thrust like it's doing right now. Okay? Notice that you do have a power meter that just went red. Okay? We do have, so let's say we're in 2 and we want to add 3 more if this happens to go green. Okay, because it did do our little power meter. Matter of fact, both of our power meters went red. And see how beautiful that is? That's not a short trade. That's just simply a retrace trade. There you go. You just went all green again and you just fired 3 more contracts. Now, if you did this particular trade, I would highly, highly, highly recommend putting that stop just under like stealth, to give an example. See where stealth is right there? Give it just a little wiggle room just in case they do a little ABC, but don't let them come all the way back down where they broke out. Or even mid-band, in my personal opinion. It's up to you. You know, it's your money and everything, but from this top to this mid-band is 24 ticks. And on oil, that is $240 per contract. So I don't personally like that. Okay? Now, we would want to probably go ahead and get rid of some of this. What would you do if you walked in your room? Let's say you don't even have this trade. I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to ask you where you could probably get in this trade. Well, you could use power meter, right? What about retrace trade? If it breaks 30, comes back and kisses it, would that be a decent trade? And the answer is yes or no, right? Because that's going to be support after it breaks it as resistance. And let's see if we can even get that trade. We might get that trade. That's a pretty good thrust right there. You could look for predictor, but what if it doesn't come down to predictor? You know, when these things run, don't they hold line 6 pretty well? And stealth? See, we could literally already be in this trade because it touched stealth. And then let's say, for instance, if we did this trade like at stealth, to give an example, then we'd just put our stop just underneath it, just in case they decided to come a lot deeper. Now, we're too late for stealth now. We're already 8 ticks above it. So since we're retrace traders, we're going to look for a little thrust up and a little pullback. See if we can get it. It's right at resistance. Now, if you're a breakout trader, you could obviously do something like this, right? But that, to me, is a very risky trade. Sorry about that. Is a risky trade to take that right there, okay? But is it a risky trade for it to thrust up and then pull back a little bit? Not really, right? Now, you can also wait absolutely on the predictor. Wait on your predictor or stealth. Okay, let's see if we get a little pullback on this at all. Let me check this real quick. That's going to power meter. I know what it is. It's because we started it over. I think we're on minutes. Let's check it out. Nope, 4 range, 4 range, 12 range. Nope, we're good to go. Okay, we're A-okay. See if we can get a little trade here. What do you think? When it comes back down below resistance, what if it pops back up above like that. Could you do that? See, it came down below support and then it popped back up above it. Is that a fairly risky trade? I'd probably put my stop at line 6 if it turns out that it goes against me. Okay. Now, what if you miss this trade absolutely entirely? What's our rule of thumb that we need to do? As retrace traders, we want it to go as close to mid-band as possible, right? This is a riskier trade right here, but if you draw your lines on your charts, and you'll notice that we do this in the room quite a bit, you know, this came down below support, it got a higher low, and it popped right back above resistance. Is that a fairly safe trade? I think it is. Because what do you expect in an up move? Higher lows, higher highs. Okay, that's a higher low, and plus it popped back above resistance. So I'm not afraid of that. And I don't like the breakout as much, because what if it would have just barely broke out, come all the way back down to here instead, and then decided to break out or even break down? A good safe trade is a retracement type trade. You know, let it thrust up above your little area, pull back, and then take it. Okay. Now let's kill this trade, and let's go to, this is the 15th, which was today. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit, and you tell me where we should get in the trade. Anybody? What do you think? Let it run some more? Okay, we'll let it run some more. But couldn't you be ready for this trade? Let's just go ahead, since we got a power meter 2 and 1 that are red, let's just go ahead and turn on our power meter 2 long. Okay, and what we're looking for, we don't want to go any lower than this. This is our swing, high, low, higher, high. Okay, this is what we call our micro swing. This is our secondary swing. And we're looking for a pullback into mid-band, right? Or into predictor. Okay, let's see if we get something. When do you use PM1 versus PM2 to get in a trade? Well, Mario, on your question, I like both of them. The power meter 2 it takes 2 bars at least to do a little swing, where the 4 range is just 1 bar. So with 1 bar, you can get in a trade accidentally. Now, what I'd probably do if this was to fire right here, I would probably only do 1 contract. Why would I do that? Because this would be going thrust, retrace, breaking, but where's my resistance? It's right up here. So I'm not going to go nuts and go 3 contracts here. I want them closer down here. But doesn't lightning do that for you anyway? Look at that. Power meter 1 and 2 are still red. It would have to take that out with the close of a bar to actually fire my 1 contract. And let's see if we can get our trade. This is about 10 o'clock at night on the 14th, by the way, if you happen to have been trading last night. I don't trade these on Sunday nights. I got more important things to do. I like trading, you know, truthfully. I worked 10-hour days most of my life, 6 days a week, and sometimes 7 days a week when I had my own retail stores and everything. I don't care to work that anymore. I'm not lazy. I'm just not stupid. I don't see any reason to, you know, just basically I don't see any reason to have to work, you know, 15 hours a day to try to trade and make some decent coin. Okay, now we did get this little trade on 1 contract. Okay, I don't like the fact that it's actually trying to do a little double top, so I'm going to protect that. See it right there? Now usually if they're going to shoot up, they'll go ahead and shoot up on this bar. See how that's trying to do a little doji type candle, and it held a double top? I don't like that trade. Sometimes I will even do this with a trade like this. It's too late now, but I would even reverse that trade at a double top like that, because more than likely, if it double tops, it's going to take this swing out right here, but it's not going to take this swing out. Everybody want to bet on that? Watch it make a liar out of me, but that's what I see, 1,000 times continually on these charts. See, work is for people who haven't seen Viper. That's it, Walter. Very good. Works for what I used to do. When I had those TV and appliance stores 6 days a week, we did close on Sundays as a rule, but we had sales on Sundays and things like that. You had to pay the bills. And man, I'll tell you what, with brick and mortar type stores, my overhead was roughly around $50,000 a month, between the stores that I had, just 2 stores. And you had to make that $50,000 profit before you got paid a dime. Exactly. I sweat bullets many nights on those. Plus, employees are a huge pain in the tail end. I agree with that one also. I had some pretty good employees, but I can still agree with you on that. See, I don't like this. This is double topping. Now, I'm pretty cautious if this double tops, and you do have support right here, and you could go ahead and turn on exit on close, because if it is going to bounce, it should bounce off your little swing. Otherwise, I don't like the trade. See where power meter 2's already gone red. Power meter 1's getting ready to also. Didn't get us yet. Will it? We'll find out. It might. But let's diagnose the chart real quick with our little black chart. Let's pretend we're not even in a trade at all. Let's look at this chart and see where we could possibly be heading, okay? Let's go ahead and get rid of lightning. I'm going to go with lightning 1 off the chart real quick, and here's my lightning 2, and there's my lightning 3. Okay, so we have a swing right here. And we have a swing right down there. That's actually on top. I'll go ahead and change that to a white one. All right, and we don't want to take out this swing right here. So don't you think that would be your little sweet spot on here? I think personally that the sweet spot would be, you don't want to take this out. So the sweet spot's probably going to be somewhere between here and here. Let's see what it does in real time. We'll put this over here to the left and see what it does. Well, we did get stopped out. See how when they double top like that? Always watch for those double tops. Let me get this out of the way for just a minute. Let's see where we can get in. Okay, looking at this chart, high, low, higher, high, a little ABC, okay? So this is a swing that's been tested so far, right? It did not ratchet up much, but it more than likely will take out this swing right here when they do a double top, but they will not take this one out right here. So I'm looking for a sweet spot. That's a little swing there too. That's a swing there which we cannot take out. So they're going to bounce right off of this swing right here more than likely. Let's see if they do. Everybody see it by looking to the left to trade the right? Let's see if it comes down there and checks it. And we're going to turn on power meter. You want 1 or 2? Now here's one that I want to tell you about real quick. I don't like this power meter because see your bars came straight down. Okay, if we don't get a little crooked bar back down, like with a close down, this will not fire. Okay, if this does not fire, you don't want to get in this trade way up in here. Okay, so see it hit, there we go, we got it anyway. It did close the bar down, so we're okay. Always watch for that. That's super important because you have to have a low, a high, and a higher low. And this just changed session, so let's make sure this doesn't turn off because we do have that feature in Object Trader now. Yep, it did. Okay, I'm going to turn it back on. See, because it went into a separate session. Okay, so if we go green, we'll be firing. Let's go ahead and go 3. Oh, now one thing that's true. That's something I've got to get the programmer to actually work with, because this actually, since it doesn't see this session, this was midnight type of a session, so it never sees this swing right here. See how that didn't change to green? If it would have seen it as a different session, it would have changed green on that bar right there. So now we're stuck with waiting to see if we can get in at a different spot. We'll see. We will see what it does. Now, since it's way up at the top, remember, I'm only going to do 1 at first, just in case this thing just decides to bust up here. See, I like to watch for the box to form around predictors or mid-band before I turn the PM. And you know, that's one thing, Mark, that we will have in future Object Trader, because I like it too. Because to me, a trade like this is extremely risky, even with PM. But what if this thing just decides to bust right up here? And it could. So I'd probably take a chance with 1. This is kind of like at, you know, the open of the market. You know, sometimes you sit there and go, oh my gosh, I wish I'd taken that trade. I feel much better about it at mid-band, though, I can tell you that. Let's go ahead and bring this back down, mid-band. You want to take it with the box instead? Okay, somebody said take it with the box. We'll draw a region. We'll draw our mid-band. We want a long, so we're going to go long inside, touch +2, like that. Okay, and then we will go along like this right here. Let's see if we can get something. Now it's not going to come back this far now. See, it already came close to mid-band, so let's see where it's going. Look to the left to trade the right. There's a swing right there. See if we can get that one instead. Everybody sees that swing, right? Notice, there we go. We just, I didn't want that one. That's outside the wrong side of the box. That's okay, though. I'll go ahead and take it again if it gets down to 53 at that swing. We'll go ahead and turn this one off and that one on, and we'll go with 3. Because it should bounce. We're starting to get, there you go, it came off of it. And by the way, if you wanted more, if it breaks this little swing here with a PM, you can even turn on PM and add 3 more if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but see that little power meter right there? If it goes green, it would fire it. We're not going to do it though. 4's enough. Now see, on this particular one so far, that's not letting you box in at mid-band. But didn't the lightning still going to work out? Well, we'll find out. May have faked us into a region. Let's see if the power meter gets a better spot. Watch it turn green and we'll see. Oh, by the way, look at our box. See that box right there? Look at that. Came so close to it, didn't it? That's why you got to draw on your charts. It really helps to see those swings in real time. It really does. Okay, we're feeling a little bit of heat on this one with 4. Now we're break even or better, so we're good. Now we're back. See how this changes to green to red? That tells you you're losing on your trade or not. Right now you're green, so you're above your cost. I'd probably protect myself on this though, just in case. I wouldn't let them take out that swing right there. That'd be a 9-tick loss. If it pops up above this little swing, we will put our stop right here at 53. Not yet. See, it hadn't even changed the power meter yet. That's why, truthfully, I like those little power meters. I think they're really good. The only time that you've got to watch them, though, is when they come straight down and they try to go straight up. This one didn't happen to do it. See how it just did a little hook? But if those bars went straight up, this would never change. Because lightning only sees that type of movement. It's got to have a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, like that. That's the way it triggers it. Well, let's see, where's our targets? We'll go ahead and get one of them out of the way. And that looks good to me. I would probably go for a target right in through here or here. One of those targets would be fine. Fade it just a little bit. That's good. Now we're at break even. I'd move my stop just under the swing, though, not at break even. And you got you a nice little trade. Okay? Now, same thing. What if you miss this? What if you miss this run right here? We don't know how high it's going to go. Nobody does. But can you very possibly get in a trade? Let's just kill this one and let's see if we can do exactly what I've been teaching this whole time. Let's see if we can get a little power meter trade. They're all green. Wait for a retracement, absolutely. Wait for a retracement. This goes red. Hadn't gone red yet. Hadn't gone red yet. We may not get a red. That's okay. If we don't, we don't. We'll wait for another retracement. Now, if you see it in real time and you're see this lightning swing right here, if they happen to break that, you could go ahead and try like 1 if it closes above that. See, it wicked it. That's a lightning swing. If we get a red, we'll be happier. And I'm going to add that to Object Trader more than likely in the next 2 releases, to where it'll actually look at these swings in real time. That way, even if it's green, it'll look to take this trade. You know, it'll look to take this trade here if you want it to. See there how it just popped up? We could have gotten that trade. But now what do we got to do, everyone? Wait for a retracement. Wait for a predictor. Wait for the power meter to go red. And let's see if we can get a trade. Nobody knows where it's at, but we'll find one, won't we? Watch in real time. Predictor will start drawing when it sees the price action. Predictors will usually draw, as a rule, on these lower ones right around mid-band and possibly as low as phantoms. But I'd expect a predictor to draw right across this area right here. Let's draw a little box and see if our predictor draws right in through there. I'm predicting where the predictor will draw. Could you take a chance on something like this? Power meter 1 for 5 ticks to the short side. You want to take that chance? Power meter 1's not changing, so I don't think I would, because I think it'll bounce right there. Yeah, we got it anyway. We'll see if we get 5 ticks. Got it anyway. Ooh, that's 8. We don't want 8. That's one of those deals where we don't want that trade. Let's see if we can stay above cost at least. I'm going to put my stop just above that, because I like that trade a lot better under this swing right here. Yeah, it took us out. See this right here, right there? That's where I like the trade, and that's not where we got it for some reason. But let's see if we can get back in. I'm going to draw my chart, look to the left to trade the right. I see a trail. We're not going to get that one. Let's see if we go higher now. We'll see if we go higher. It'll come back down to a mid-band though. Little retracement going on. I'm going to try this again just for the fun of it. I'm going to do it with 2. See if we can get 5. Got it. All right. Now where's our trade on this chart right now? Well, lightning 1 or lightning 2. See if we can get one. And we're going to go back to 3 with all 3 targets. See if we can get that. Everybody see how to box these in and also how to use power meter? It's a very, very powerful tool. Now what's our rule of thumb on that trade right there? Power meter is not going to change to green until it takes out this swing right here. See it right there? Luckily we didn't get fired. It didn't close above that swing because that's your identified swing that power meter was looking for. Now it may get a lower one now. Everybody see how they do these little swings like this? I'm going to turn this off for right now because I want it lower. There we go. Power meter's still red. Let's see, you thought if lightning 1 is broken, you wait to check medium near mid-band, but you took that last trade well above mid-band. Well, I took a short, didn't I? Or you mean when I took the long? You can still take the long with power meter. You just got to realize, though, that those little thrust retraces that it does, you want to make sure that on looking to the left to trade the right, you've got at least your scalp. We're still red. We haven't gone green yet. See if we get something. Now, does everybody see also when you look at your chart, because I always diagnose my charts also, if this was to decide to break down, they'd have to break down below here. So far, you're getting a higher set of lows, right? You know, they're trying to bounce off of here. They haven't bounced just yet. They kind of did off of mid-band, though, so that we may have just missed that trade, except power meter's going to get it a little bit late. I trust that trade, though, simply because you got resistance all the way up at that top. You got resistance right here, too. So is that trade worthy of us? I think so. You just got it, so it better be worthy of us. Put my stop just underneath that swing right there. Move your target out of the way, right? And I'm going to go for a 5-tick reversal trade if it happens to take out power meter. We got our targets, didn't we? Instead of reversal trade, we're just going to take the trade. We hit our target. Okay, we just got power meter broke below. Okay, where is support on this chart for your next trade? Anybody? Let's look to the left to trade the right. Thrust, retrace, came down. So you got support right across here, like so. You got support right here, like so, right? Sweet spot. And you do have support right here also, but it's already chested that one. See that? Right across there. I already tested that one. Thrust retrace, held support, shot up. So when they break micro, they'll go down and check medium, which is more like our mid-band. Watch and see if we can get one more trade. Whoa, that one's a deep one. See if we can get it anyway. That's a phantom trade. And that's a little later than I wanted it. Should have fired. Oh, it didn't do a hook. Didn't do a hook. That's support. I would probably do this if it was me looking at this chart, like right there, like that, because it came down to support. But let's go ahead and fire two more if we get a power meter to the green side. How many of you watched those phantoms right there? Now, does that mean we couldn't have stayed short on that little trade that I just went for 5 ticks? No, because what's the rule of thumb on trading to begin with? You've got 3 trends on your chart that are active at any given moment. You have power meter 1, 2, and 3. If you go against 3, as a rule, it's a counter trend trade, so you just want to just literally scalp it or watch the bar closes. Okay, notice we got that trade right across here. Okay, it looks like this trade's going to actually work. How many of you wait for your retrace trades? Do you see even where your retrace trade's going to be again? Because I see it already. Anybody? If we thrust up above mid-band, you can almost count on the fact that they're going to check this swing right here. They haven't checked it. See, that barely went up above it, pull back down just barely. Now watch and see if they don't thrust up and pull back right into this area right here before they take off. Watch and see. Because they usually do. Now, if they don't, we're going to put our stop underneath here anyway. And we've got 4 on here, so we got to be careful because we've got 4 on one target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 off if it happens to hit this resistance right here. We'll go ahead and sell 2. Do we have any other trading video? Oh yeah, we've got teaching videos all over even your webinar link. I'll show it to you in just a minute there, Terry. There we go. I'll go ahead and take 2 off. That way we don't risk 4 contracts with any kind of pullbacks. Your lightning swing is right here, isn't it? Right there where my break even is. So I'm going to go ahead and put my break even. Just let's see if we pull back into that support area. A little deeper. It's okay. If it goes back above it, could you fire again? See there? Went above resistance. There you go. Just got some more trade. Support and resistance. Breaks up, pulls back. Where would your stop be right now? Anyone? Well, you could put it at mid-band, or you could put it underneath this swing as soon as it takes out the top of it. Training videos up the wazoo, Tom says. That's right, we do have. Everybody see how you can trade this like this, though? You can flat make some money doing this too, because they're constantly doing this same thing all day long. You know, we drew this box ahead of time. Everybody remembers that, right? Look how it came right down. We had a sweet spot. We had the sweet spot right there like that. Thrust up. Didn't even stop. So where had they not checked? Where they broke out. What do they do when they do that? They check where they broke out. Did that come right back down to just about on top of there? It did. See, they thrust up, they check. They thrust up, they check. Now, this looks like this has been going up quite a bit. Where would this change trends if it decides to change trends? Anyone? Draw your lightning 3 and let's see if we can see anything in real time. That's a double top, by the way. I'd probably more than likely sell some with that double top like that. But I, whoops, didn't. Oh, I sold 2 of my longs. Never mind. We're still okay. All right, we'll sell it on a power meter instead. We'll reverse it for 5 ticks. Now we don't need to reverse it. We need to actually go with the trade. We'll go with a PM2. Because anytime they thrust up, they're going to pull back at some point or another. Here's your power meter 1. Didn't close yet. That should be power meter 2 right there. Now this little trade right here, I'd highly recommend just watching it and seeing if you can make some coin with it, or stay away from it totally, because you do have another trade setting up right here. See it right here? Well, we already got our short, so we're stuck with it. Let's see if it pays off. Got it. Where's our trade on this chart, everyone? Predictor, power meter. Let's go with power meter 1. And we'll do 3 entries like that. Power meter 1 goes green. It came down to a predictor. I'd really like for it to come all the way down to this line. It almost did. If it breaks that line right there, it'll fire it, but we're only going to get about 5 or 6 ticks before it hits that top. That's a little late to me. I don't like that trade as much. I like to just buy the predictor. Everybody see why you want to just buy that predictor? That's why I want that trade added to it, because that to me is a 10 tick too late trade. See how it came right down to predictor? Predictor knew where that swing was that it was trying to check with that price action, and it was right there. Perfect. Let's see if we can get another one. And I want everyone to tell me where it's at. Try to anticipate where your chart's going. Well, it already printed it, so you can't anticipate it. Predictor is right there. Let's look to the left to trade the right. That's a swing. Probably that's just a wick there, so that's more than likely a good trade. I would probably, if it got down there, just literally just grab it. And we'll do it with 1 simply because we don't want to take a chance with this blowing through our support. You want to try it? See if we can get it. Notice how well your P&L can actually do too if you trade like this. You know, just watch those swings, trade your lightning, 1 and 2, your power meter 1 and 2, and of course your regions are really, really good too. And a region, let me show you how Charles likes to draw a region. Let's see if we can get a region trade instead. We said we were going to do some regions tonight. Let's go ahead and draw it. All right, let's go ahead and bring it down here. Right, I'm going to get this out of the way because I want to retrace trade. I don't want to breakout trade. Or you can just turn off the top, obviously. So we're going to go for a long trade, touch, +2. We'll go for 2. That way we can at least get a runner. We'll do 13. Hadn't come down yet. The bottom of the region is long inside, which means it's going to fire that trade 2 ticks before it hits this line, unless it blows through it. If it blows through it, it should not fire it. But if it does come within those 2 ticks and ticks back up 1 tick, it will fire it. So it'll get the trade 3 ticks from the bottom. Okay? Or if it came down through it and came back up through it, it could get it at 2 ticks. Okay? But what we're looking for is 2 ticks from this little predictor. And that's going to be a trade we're going to add to Object Trader just as soon as we can. Trade 2 charts only, CL and NQ, or YM don't want to pay for TF feed. I understand that. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't want to pay for TF feed. It's almost like a political statement in a way. You just don't want to pay them for something that should be free, because they make their money on their stinking commissions. You think they don't make money on commissions? They make a bunch of money on commissions. Are we going to get this trade? We're going to find out. Now notice I'm not sure why this isn't printing my text. I might have turned that off earlier, but no, it's still on. We just hadn't got our text printing yet. Okay. Notice we got our trade. Now this is sideways right now, so I would probably more than likely just stay in the range, see if we can get, and I wouldn't give them any wiggle room on this either, just in case they decide to come into this predictor. I'd probably go halfway, something like that. Now, real quick question for the team. Where would this thing, if it did decide to change trends yet? Anyone? Well, so far, and we don't know if it's going to, obviously, but it seems to be getting tired to me, and that's a pretty good run. So right under here is what I consider to be your medium swing. It hadn't numbered it yet, but that's still more than likely, if it takes out this top at all, it'll number that right there. Let's speed it up a little bit and see. Does everybody see how to trade these little opening? And we didn't even get to the open trade. You want to see if we can get to it before we wrap the room? There we got our trade. Nice. See if that identifies that swing there as a lightning 3 yet. Hadn't yet. It's identified to me though, because you've got a high here, a low here, and a much higher high here. So that's what I consider to be your medium swing. Right down there. Look how those predictors actually hit right where, they're pretty amazing. See how they pull back at them? Now this looks like this is about 8 a.m. in the morning on the 15th. So more than likely you would already be short on this, by the way, because you've got a box that would have drawn up in here. That was that trade we talked about this morning, as a matter of fact. Let's get rid of the region just real quick. I want to diagnose it. That's your 8 o'clock box right there. That's a swing right there on lightning 2. That's resistance. That's PM2, but not PM1 yet. Now to me, if this was going to head up, and really after this huge thrust, would have to take out 62. And I would probably want it to take it out and come back. Okay, just did get a power meter, right? Okay, that's that trade we take in the room lots of times when you draw on your charts, those little boxes and everything. But what if you miss this trade? Let's see if this trade does what I've been teaching all night. I'm just going to fast forward it. We don't care if it hits targets or whatever. I just want to see what it does. Okay, there's your thrust. Everybody see your thrust? Where's your retrace on this chart? Anyone? Anyone? Let's draw on our chart and see if we can get the next trade, because we called this in the room this morning. Okay, I draw lines on my chart where lightning 3 is. And there's a little sweet spot right there. You want to see if it gets it? Midband went magenta, so it's definitely now short background and short midband. So we're looking for shorts. Let it thrust. Don't go chasing this. If you sell this down here, you're going to regret it more than likely, because you got a thrust is what you got. You want to just turn that on? We can do that. All right, let's just go ahead and turn on power meter 1. Whoop, not long, short. Power meter 1. It just came to a predictor, by the way. Right on the money on my predictor, so I'm going to sell 2. See, it's right there at resistance, just like I drew my line. And predictor picked it up. And you got support. Oh, we fired again. That's because I fired it manually, obviously. Now it's doing it with power meter. There we go. We just got another decent trade. Everybody see how to do this? How you can do this in literally on your account in real time, because you're looking to the left to trade the right. We drew that, ahead of time as far as predictor. Didn't quite go up to this swing right here. Notice it just missed it by about a tick, maybe 2 ticks. That's what they do, but these predictors catch that most times. See how the predictor said, nope, it's going to come to 36, and it came to 37. Anybody remember this little trade in the room this morning? Because what you can do, if you're in 3 trades and this starts to retrace at all, you can always take like 2 of them off, just in case, see how it's not taking out that bottom, and then you haven't come to mid-band just yet, and look for a retracement trade and see if you can get a predictor trade. Whoa, what in the world just happened? Well, that killed us. Market Replay just decided to reboot. That was a bummer. Okay, I don't think we're going to be loading charts because I've got about 5 charts it's going to have to load. We'll give it a minute and see if it does. In the meantime, let me go ahead and show you where those videos are for our people that are here on our last week of our little trial that we've got going on. Okay, go to vipertradingsystems.com. I'll get rid of the disclaimer here. Okay, and you'll simply go to the webinar link. Okay, our members have lots and lots of stuff, but you have to have passwords and everything to get in there. But the webinar link, we've got this updated quite nicely. Under webinar recordings, this is even the webinar I did on Saturday. It's a little over an hour and 20 minutes if I remember right. There's the one Charles did on Thursday. There's the one I did last Monday night. So there's a good 3 hours worth of great training to show you exactly how we trade this. Okay, just go to the webinar link. All right, let's go to, well, we got our chart. Look at that. Look at that. See how drawn on your charts you get the trade. Now, we missed the trade because obviously we were loading charts, but was that line drawn on that chart ahead of time? Does anybody remember it being drawn in the room in real time ahead of time? It was. And did that turn out to be a great trade? Absolutely. All right, what if you missed it? Anybody? Draw on your charts and see where they're going. You know, you want to go at least at mid-band most times on your little retraces. And I wouldn't let them go any higher than here, obviously, because they'd be changing trends. So that's what I call my secondary swing. And let's just turn on, for the fun of it, power meter 2, and let's see if we can get a trade. I think we did, but we already got our 5 ticks. Let's go with, there we go. Did that hit exactly where we had our line drawn? That was resistance. I called that out in the room this morning. Remember, we took that trade. But if I remember right, a lot of times they'll check it twice. They might give you a second chance. Let's see if we can get in this. We'll go with power meter 1 now. See if we can get the trade. I can tell you this though, if you really start trading just like we teach like this, you know, and watch for these opens of the market, don't get chopped around at the first of the market and everything. Be very careful with that part of it, because where would our stop have to be on this trade, everyone? You'd have to put it up there. I'd put it with the close of the bar too. Until it, well, it's got to make a lightning swing, right? Because it could go all the way up there. We're feeling heat. What does everybody think? You want to kill the trade, or you want to stay with it? It should not take out this swing right here with the close of the bar. Look at that. Checked it. Now that's usually where I'll go ahead and actually add, more than likely, like with a power meter 2. Well, we just missed it. Power meter 1. That's okay. Decent little trade though, huh? But watch these predictors in real time, and I'll show you something here. I traded this a little bit after the room closed. Watch your predictor and see if you can't tell me where another trade is, and then we're going to wrap. Everybody see that little trade right there? Right at predictor? A little risky on it? Let's find out. Not too risky. It's got us some profit. Bingo, bazingo. Predictors. They work. And our little power meters, our little boxes, all of this absolutely works. We've got one still short, and I'd probably move my target out of the way. And I don't like a break-even trade. Myself personally, I don't usually use the break-even trigger. I move my stops. And I get out of trades based on, for instance, if you got one contract, just turn on power meter 1 or 2 even. If it goes green, it'll get you out of that last one. It would have to go above here to get you out of it. And you can just go ahead and get out of the trade if it happens to go that way. See, right now it's still stair-stepping down. There, it just got you flat. All right. Hope everybody enjoyed it. It'll be up on the site here in about the next, look at that, another predictor rollover. Where's our line on our chart? Went right above resistance, rolled back through support, and you could have literally fired that trade right on that bar right there. Right when it took back out support as it came back through it. And of course you're trading with the trend, right? Now this is already to the end of the deal, so we can't trade anymore. It's at the end of the day. All right, I hope everybody got something out of it. It'll be posted in just a little bit. And I don't think I missed any questions. Let's see. Do you have auto trading during morning session, Terry says? Well, auto trading is not part of Object Trader as of yet. This trade we are adding to Object Trader, these predictor trades, but it's not in it just yet. But we will call them, I can tell you that. If anybody remembers the room this morning, we nailed that trade right there. Remember, we nailed this trade right here. And of course, this trade came right to resistance. See it? Where it thrust down, retraced right into resistance. Okay? This trade came right into resistance and rolled. I mean, there's trades all over. Got the eyes of an eagle. The Lion King. Yep. If you learn to draw on your charts, we'll share that title, Lion King. All right, everyone, have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thanks very much for coming. Let's see, what is the best way to do the predictor trade without risking a falling knife? Brian, on your question, the predictor trade with the lightning, confirming the trade is the best way to do it conservatively. All right, thanks.